All right. Hello, hello, hello. Another Friday already. So, another day of Amazon seller news here. We've got some exciting news coming up here. But first, I want to thank Leslie for coming on the show and Danon once again. I appreciate you guys joining me.
Good to be here.
Happy to join you.
Yeah, so we've got some exciting news, I think, today that's going to be fun to talk about. So we've got one coming up here where Amazon supposedly has been tracking everyone through their phones. Microsoft possibly looking at buying TikTok. OpenAI has created an AI shopping assistant, and UPS and Amazon may be cutting ties here, or at least decreasing quite substantially. So let's go ahead and dive into it. But if you're out there listening, go ahead, go ahead and throw any comments you have in the comments, any questions, I should say. And we'll try to bring them up during the show and dive into them as well and get your questions answered. So let's go ahead and share this first story. So Amazon faces lawsuit over alleged secret tracking of consumers. A new lawsuit accuses Amazon of secretly tracking consumers through their cell phones by embedding tracking codes in third-party apps. The lawsuit claims Amazon collected sensitive geolocation data without consent, revealing personal details like religious affiliations, health concerns, and shopping habits. If true, this raises serious concerns for Amazon sellers about how the company handles consumer data and potential regulatory scrutiny that could impact advertising and sales strategies. The outcome of this case could lead to new data privacy rules that affect how sellers engage with customers on the platform. So first off, I'll just point out that this is just the beginning of a lawsuit. So, innocent until proven guilty and all that. But
wish they did the same for us, but please continue.
Yeah, for sure. But I would not be surprised at this at all, because it sounds like what Amazon has been doing is they're using their Amazon Ads SDK, which other companies use in their applications to show Amazon ads and make money. And they're using those to kind of secretly steal the data from those apps and learn all about the users and customers. So what do you think on that one, Leslie? You're the account health person and deal with these kind of things all the time.
So first, I just want to say this is all just crazy talk, because it never, ever happens that I'm in my house saying to my husband, I really need to buy a new pair of shoes. And then later, a bunch of ads for shoes pop up on my phone. So, this never happens. And anyone who would think that is just insane.
It doesn't happen on Facebook either. So
no, or the follow me ads, the remarketing ads, that never happens on that either. In fact, I know that if we talk about any name brands on this podcast right now, that later when Nike. I open my browser, nothing weird's gonna happen. Yeah.
Nike.
Fishing equipment.
Lamborghini.
So if Amazon is actually doing this, which wouldn't surprise me at all, because hey, it's another stream of revenue that isn't dependent on .com sales, and really they like making all their money off of data, because making your money off of data is awesome and lower risk. But that being said, I would see this as being a huge unforced error, and one of those things where they think no one will ever catch them, if it is in fact true. Because when you are one of the biggest companies in the world and people have a love-hate relationship with you, you just don't add fuel to the fire. I get really frustrated with Amazon with stuff like this, because they are already in the crosshairs of the federal government. We still don't know how that is going to change or not change under the Trump administration. They've got several big lawsuits pending, one of which is going to end up before the Supreme Court on product liability. Most likely, it hasn't yet, but I bet you it will. And they're just asking for more trouble. I just don't get it. As someone who's also a shareholder, not a fan.
Yeah, the way I imagine this probably went, giving the benefit of the doubt to Amazon, which may not be a good thing. I'm going to guess that the Amazon advertising SDK, which is the programming component that other apps use to show Amazon ads, somewhere in their terms of service, it probably said, hey, we're going to collect this data just so you know. But what they failed to do is then they also have to inform the users of those apps. The people who make those apps need to inform their users. So I got a feeling that's maybe the defense that Amazon is going to take here. Like we told these apps that we were doing
Yeah.
this. It's not our fault that they didn't tell their customers. They were supposed to. So they may cover themselves with something like that, but we'll see.
Well, and don't you always wonder? I always click the ask app not to track. Y'all know what I'm talking about when you install a new app and it says, we want to collect information when you're on other sites and things. And I always do that. No, thank you. Don't you always wonder if that actually means anything or if it just goes into the ether?
So I think that it probably means something, but not as much as we think, because we still have to accept, if we want to use their website, we still have to accept their terms and conditions, right? And in their terms of conditions, which are 87,000 pages long, using specialized legal Latin and verbiage, we sign our life away every single time we agree to these terms and conditions. And I don't know if I've ever met anyone that actually reads them all. I know I don't.
No. You'd never be able to use an app. That'd be your life.
Yes, that's all you would do, and you would still never finish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And not only that, but the way these contracts are written are such that it's very nebulous as to what you're giving them access to. Like to Facebook, you say, hey, they go, hey, would you like us to be able to access all of your photos real quickly? And nobody realizes, or not many, I would imagine, realize that when they say yes, absolutely, they're saying, go ahead and have access to put all of my photos onto your service, all the metadata, the location data, the voices, the faces, everything, and the locations, which is part of the metadata, so that you know where I've been, you know what what products I'm taking photos of, and by the way, go ahead and run it through your AI and see what I'm interested in, and then advertise to me.
Okay, y'all, I have to tell you this. One of my fantastic team members at Riverbend is watching our stream right now, and he just messaged me on Slack and said, I read them, nerds read them.
All right. Okay. Who is this again?
This is one of our consultants, James. He is a brilliant, wonderful consultant. And you know what? This is why he's really good at his job. He's one of these people who will dive into the details.
Yeah, James, why don't you come onto the live stream and break it down for us, Barney style, and like tell us what we're agreeing to. Like the world needs people like you, buddy. People that are not a lawyer that can read this stuff, understand it, and then translate it into layman's terms. Because I can read contracts okay, but most of them are written in such a way. It's like, well, I understood it this way. And it's the reason you get into legal battles with each other or even against laws and stuff like that is because, well, this is how I interpreted it. Oh, well, we interpreted it differently. So you sue me, I'll sue you. Let's see who has the better argument and which one can pay off the judge first or last, maybe.
Yeah. Who has the deeper pockets?
Exactly.
Pretty much is what it comes down to. It's I mean, our data is everywhere. Europe is definitely a little better on data privacy, but we don't do a whole lot here in the United States. I wish we did more in banning this data collection and stuff, or making it a lot more stringent, and this is one area where I think our government really messes up. We spend how many trillions of dollars every year on a lot of stupid stuff. I feel like this is one thing where the federal government could come in and, if you have a grievance and you're suing a big company, the government could be in your corner, essentially providing counsel and stuff like that, and to sue these big companies, because it's impossible for an individual to do it. I mean, you'll just get destroyed. Their lawyers will wrap you up for a decade in lawsuits, and meanwhile, you lose your job, you lose your house and everything else because you're focused on a lawsuit.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. If you had the government on your side, it'd probably be the same scenario, but
probably
that cogwheel turns pretty slowly as well.
Well, yeah, and honestly, the real problem with this to me is not necessarily companies getting your data and using it to market to you. It's annoying. It's not cool for anyone to have your data, but they are not the problem. The problem is that then it gets hacked. I mean, how many notifications do you get every year in your email or a thing that you get in snail mail that says, we're giving you a free year of whatever because all of your data has been hacked? I mean, our health insurance company was hacked, for heaven's sake, or like one of their providers was hacked, I think, and they're huge. And so every single time that there's someone else collecting your data, it's another opportunity for bad guys to get a hold of it and use it against you. And that upsets me a lot more about this than anything that Amazon or another retailer would ever do with the data. It's that it's just out there more stuff about Leslie that no one needs to know, like what I want to buy. I mean, who cares? But okay.
Many years ago, I went to open up a bank account and they declined me because I had terrible credit. And they said, yeah, Justin Dwan Colbin. I was like, who? Like, this isn't you? Like, no. This person used my social security number and was able to get money and all kinds of stuff. And so, like, social security number is like, okay, that's probably fairly easy to get. Maybe I don't know. I'm not into fraud, so I'm no pro at it. But it's so easy these days, and there's so many places that are so insecure with their data, and I don't know for sure, but I have to estimate because a lot of businesses do business with tons of other businesses. So there's got to be cascading levels of insecurities that hackers could kind of worm the way up the waterfall, so to speak, and then get whatever they need from you. And so I have heard that hackers get these credit card numbers and your personal data, then they sell it to other people who then go, well, yeah, I'll give you $50 for this credit card number. And then they try and buy whatever they buy. And then they go, like, I've had my fraudulent charges on my credit cards, gosh, must be at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, we've had those too. And like you, Danon, I have had social security number fun. Someone stole my social security number who also stole a bunch of others, apparently, and was prosecuted in federal court in Louisiana. I had no idea any of this was going on until I got a victim letter from the feds. And now I get a pin in the mail every year that I have to use to file my tax return so that they know for sure it's me filing the tax return, which is just crazy. But what's nuts about it is I had no idea. I saw no impact to anything, but I was one of the hundreds of victims that this person now in a federal penitentiary had. And so if it's the hacking, it's really the hacking that worries me. So thanks, Amazon, for helping the hackers. You're awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's one of those things, hacking is going to happen no matter how up you are on security practices at your business. It's always possible that, software you use has a bug or something that they take advantage of. But I really think we need to hold like CEOs of these companies criminally liable if it's obviously happened because of neglect of security. I know there's nothing that can ever be foolproof, but if you start attaching, criminal, what would that be called? Criminal laws or whatever to these kind of things, they're going to take it a lot more seriously.
Yeah. So there's a guy that I saw on the Joe Rogan show called Ryan Montgomery, and I had to look his name up, but He is an ethical hacker. His job is to go into your system and show you how insecure you are. And he has the most fascinating technology to just, oh, you walked by me, and in his satchel is something that swipes your data right there because you've got NFC on your cards, right? This stuff is so real. And like, it's, when we were children, what was Mission Impossible is now Mission Entirely Probable with not even a large degree of sophistication compared to the technology that is available to us today. It's something that if we wanted to, we could go and join Anonymous and start learning this stuff, So, I think that there is especially today, a very strong place in the world for ethical hackers and hackers for hire that you bring on board specifically to breach your systems.
Yeah, it's Russia, we know for sure, they hire computer engineers right out of college to come onto their hacking teams to do things like this. So it's huge. North Korea, does it. We know as well. I'm sure China does.
I'm sure we do too.
We do it too as well. Supposedly we're supposed to be the good guys, but you never know. It all depends on what we're doing, right? So
in a sea of gray, is anything black or white though?
Yeah, no, there's always grays, different shades of grays for sure.
Yeah.
And it all depends on the circumstance also and what our goal is.
Yeah.
But yeah, just got to be careful out there. There's hopefully we'll see what comes of this lawsuit. But it's definitely won't be the last one. That's for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully something comes of it. Like, I don't care who wins or loses, but hopefully something better from Amazon comes of it.
Yeah, well, assuming it's true, what'll happen is, down the road, we'll see a little news clip that, Amazon settles for $50 million or $100 million or whatever, and the lawyers will take their 90 million, and then you'll get 5 cents.
Yeah. Well,
you'll have to send in a big card and fill everything out to get your 5 cents. So
yeah,
and then someone can steal the data from the card you filled out.
Yeah, right. For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. I didn't get any data stolen, but I had some crypto in the Celsius network that went bankrupt, and that was like 2 years ago or something. And they finally just sent me back like a fraction of the money I had in there. It was only a few $1,000s, but I ended up getting back like a 500 or 600 of it. But I had to go and set up an account in PayPal, enable their crypto, do the self-identification, give them all my information just to get this crypto into PayPal so then I could transfer it to Coinbase. It's like,
okay,
annoying.
So y'all, I have to tell you what our invisible guest James messaged me.
Yeah.
He says, what about adding Sidewalk with it? How does that pan out? Do y'all remember Sidewalk from Amazon?
No.
Oh, it was this crazy thing where they were going to use everyone's individual internet connection in their house to create better coverage look into Sidewalk. They dropped it because it was really intrusive and horrifying. And it was called Sidewalk.
Yeah, that's why they wanted to buy Roomba, so that they could get the map of your house and see, the layout of your house and kind of basically what's in it based off of the maps that Roomba draws.
Well, and then they've got the delivery thing where they want you to let them go in your garage or open the trunk of your car or come in your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Amazon should be the CIA. Amazon should be the CIA. They'd have it down.
Yeah,
they probably got just about as much data, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe even more because people agree to give it to them. They don't have to,
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I was watching this TED Talk at some point, and there's a guy that hacked a router to use and used the 5G signal to map the inside of a house. And it was pretty interesting and sophisticated, but he said it's possible. He did it live. It's like, this is here, and you can see this is bouncing back, and based on the signal return and stuff like that, and the latency and all that, you have a rough estimate of the size of the house, or at least several rooms. I mean, there's.
Well,
but yeah,
didn't you mention the other day, or maybe it was someone else, that they did a test with AI robots, and they gave them a video camera and the signal from a Wi-Fi router, and they had people walking around in a room. And then after they learned, the people moving around and what that looked like, they took away the video camera, and the AI was still able to tell where the people were in the room based on
that's
the Wi-Fi
yes. That's I think that may have been the same talk, actually.
Was it?
Maybe so, yeah. But I know
Yeah,
what you're talking
I'm gonna
about.
have to move out in the country and live on some compound.
I know, right?
Use Starlink, and that's it. And
yeah,
man, because the world seems freaky.
awesome, but scary time to be alive. That's for sure.
Yep. I'll Leslie, I know you won't let the package go through, but I'll attempt to send you a tinfoil hat.
Let's just hope our AI robots outpace everybody else's AI robots, because there'll be AI drones flying everywhere, fighting in the sky all the time to make sure North Korea and China or whoever doesn't bomb a city or whatever happens, execute someone remotely.
Good old Skynet.
Yeah, it's coming for sure.
That's why we're getting Star Wars. Did y'all see? There's a new executive order this week for Star Wars, a la Ronald Reagan. So it's like a missile shield. It's like Iron Dome for Israel, but it's Iron Dome for America. That is the next big project. So I'm sure y'all probably saw, since we're talking about like AI and drones, it's totally off of our topics, but still, when they during the inauguration, the new Suburbans or whatever SUVs that Trump was in, like the top of them had this really thick shield on them that I had not noticed before, and someone told me those are like drone proof. It's because they're afraid of drone attacks on on them. Yes, and so this is like a huge new focus is drone attacks. Some of them using AI to choose targets. And so that's why this whole Star Wars thing that sounds outlandish, but then when you learn more about this stuff, you're like, oh, I guess it makes sense. I don't want it to make sense, but it does.
I've seen quite a few reels of drone attacks on soldiers in trenches. Like trenches they provide you cover from, acute lead poisoning, right? But they don't provide any protection from drones. And now you can get a commercial about $7,000 to get a drone with infrared, and now you can see everything at night or day, right? And they're super. If you think about it, what does a country invest into a soldier in terms of food, electricity, equipment, training, all that stuff? Years and years. And I think every soldier costs like, call it $250,000 or something like that. Well, you can replace the effectiveness of an individual with a drone for a few $100, Yeah. And so, and by the way, back to the Iron Dome, I just like to cast my vote that if we do something like that quickly, I'd like America to call it the Chrome Dome. Just putting it out there.
Oh, y'all, Echo and Alexa, all of those have ultrasound motion detection.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's all part of what we're talking about with knowing if you're in the room, and could that be developed further to, James just told me about that too. I didn't even realize that. So it's enabled at the first, and he said it doesn't work really well, but they all have that. There's even a help page on Amazon explaining it.
Wow. Yeah, I seen definitely off topic, but I seen an interesting video of a guy doing a demonstration of these little drones. They're about this big, and each one of them carries, I believe it was a 22 charge in it. And you
rifle, 22 long rifle,
like 22 bullet.
Okay. Yeah.
22 bullet in it. And they're designed to, seek out a target. So he had this one in his hand, and there was a dummy across the stage, and he threw it up in the air, and the drone went boom and slammed into the dummy's head and shot, through the head of the dummy. And he was talking about, you could release thousands of these into an area programmed to seek a certain target, or, go after everybody, whatever you want to do. And it's just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yep. And those are probably $20 to manufacture, $30 maybe.
Much, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Once they're mass produced. But they're also creating those drones that have targeted EMP weapons to battle against these kind of drones. They go up and they shoot the EMP and knock the drones out of the sky. So wars are going to be crazy in the future.
I know. Sure. For us civilians, it's going to be on the news, like, use your metal umbrellas today. There's going to be chrome, little pieces of drones. We're going to be falling through the Chrome Dome today. And, so just use your metal umbrella, your titanium umbrella.
See, and you were just making fun of my tinfoil hat, and, it could help me out.
It's true.
Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen at some point.
I wasn't making fun of it. I was telling you I was going to send one to you. I figured you needed it.
All right, next story here. So Microsoft among U.S. companies eyeing TikTok acquisition. President Donald Trump confirmed that Microsoft is one of several U.S. companies considering a bid to acquire TikTok, aiming to keep the platform operational amid government scrutiny. The potential sale is driven by national security concerns over TikTok's Chinese ownership, with the U.S. seeking a controlling stake in the company. For Amazon sellers, this development could impact TikTok's advertising landscape and TikTok Shop as well, and influencer marketing opportunities. Depending on future ownership and regulation, a U.S.-based acquisition may also lead to changes in data policies and advertising competition that sellers should monitor closely. So interesting. I can't say Microsoft was on the top of my radar for acquiring TikTok. But, they've been kind of searching for some relevance here, I guess, for a while. And this might be a grasp at that.
Yeah, I don't know. Microsoft is not among any of the companies that I would like to see acquire TikTok, because they've had their own data breaches and conspiracy theories of being connected with governments and funneling data and stuff like that. So, not to bring up something unfortunate for our country, but if you were to put in, I can't remember what it was specifically, but the date of 9/11, something like that, in Wingdings, which is a font in Microsoft, it would bring up two towers, fire, and airplanes. I actually tested this shortly after. Yeah. So I actually did this on my own computer, which hadn't been updated, but I think Microsoft updated it since then to change what font or what icons come up. But I tested this myself when I was a kid. Sure enough, you put in the date. It was like the exact date of September 11th. What was it? I can't even remember the year it was.
2001.
2001. Thank you. Yeah. And it came up with two towers, an airplane, and a burning or fire symbol, something like that. It was like, okay.
Yeah, some programmer was trying to make a bad joke, I think, most likely. But
I did this with my computer that hadn't been updated in ages.
Yeah.
This is before the time of like streaming updates with Microsoft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is like the most unsexy choice. I mean, the only way to make this less sexy is if it was IBM or HP. It couldn't be any stodgier. I was actually really surprised when I saw this, because it's like you said, Todd, not on my bingo card. Like, I had a list of maybes in my head, and this ain't one of them. But I think what Danon said is really smart. Searching for, or which one of you was it who said you're both smart when you say they're searching for relevance,
Oh yeah, that was
right?
Todd.
Yeah, it was Todd. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I wish
dead
I was
on
that
there,
smart.
Todd, because they are searching for relevance. They've got their stupid Edge browser that everyone immediately deletes from their machine. They're not
Which
they're
uses
not
Chrome, by the way, now.
yeah, they're not collecting any of our data or information through that. They don't know our browsing history because you're right, everyone uses Chrome or something else. No one is using
Yep.
Edge. It's
Chrome and
horrifyingly bad.
Safari.
Yeah,
And
the big
yeah,
thing, the big moneymaker for Microsoft right now is Azure, which is like their platform for hosting apps and virtual computers and things like that, similar to Amazon's AWS.
Mhm.
Same kind of thing. That's where they make most of their money right now.
Well, let's take a step back and think about this overall. There are very few companies out there that have the computing power and the servers necessary to run
True.
something like TikTok, right? So we
Yep.
got Amazon. We probably do have IBM. We've got Microsoft. We've got Google. Thank you. Yahoo, maybe not.
Yeah, probably not
I don't
Yahoo.
know.
They got bought by somebody, I think.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole other sad story. Yahoo not buying Google. But anyhow, who else? Like
Well, I mean, anybody could technically buy them and then use those platforms to host the data.
Yes, yeah.
But going to be more expensive than those platforms themselves buying the software.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Meta, I mean, Facebook for sure
yeah,
has the capacity to do it. Maybe X/Twitter, but probably not. Elon Musk unplugged most of their servers, so.
Yeah, I really thought the buyers, my top three were Meta and X and Amazon, because Amazon already has a relationship with TikTok to facilitate sales, and so I thought it was going to be one of those three. All three of those are also much more integrated into the social space and understand converting content into sales, which isn't really a Microsoft thing. Microsoft's never been a content or a creator company, so that's why they weren't really on my list for that. But I would like to make a request that if this happens, that Microsoft stay away from it, because if you've had to use Teams,
you hear that, Bill? Stay away.
If you've had to use Teams, you know what I'm talking about. If you've had to use their messenger equivalent, it's also clunky. It's so clunky, and Microsoft is very IBM. They're stodgy and slow, and the ship turns very slowly. So it would be an interesting culture clash of the new hip fast running as fast as they can. TikTok really does run like a startup. And then you've got the Titanic of Microsoft just moving real slowly.
I would prefer none of them buy it. I think they would, in the end, just ruin it and use it as, like a data harvesting thing. And it would have either a quick death or a slow death. Probably a slow death because it's got so many people following it. But eventually, I think it would just take a downturn. Amazon, I just don't want to have it because I like that TikTok is stealing some market share. So I'd prefer a separate company to have that. My pick actually is Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary. Now he's working through another firm that's raising all the money and stuff. So it wouldn't be himself. He's like the spokesman for the organization that's doing it. But, I would prefer a company like that, like you say, Leslie, could hopefully replicate the startup mentality of TikTok and keep it going.
Yep.
Well, yeah. And if it's a lot of private equity money, they're going to continue with the theme, right? Yeah. Private equity money wants you to keep doing what you're doing and make money, and they're only going to mess with you if you stop making money. Whereas Microsoft and Amazon and Meta they all think they're really smart and they do everything the right best way, and they're going to try and shoehorn it into their current organizations and see how they can leverage it. Although, Todd, I will take issue with something you said a moment ago. You said they would turn it into data harvesting operation. Oh, come on. The Chinese are already doing that. We know that. We just don't see what they're doing with our data.
They did it right.
Yeah, we don't see it. They're not using it for consumer choices. It would just be more obvious to us because it would once again be that I said Nike shoes, Danon, and then I'm going to go to Facebook in a while and then Nike ad will pop up. So
yeah, that's for sure. And no matter who buys it is going to do that data mining. That's how these companies make a lot of their money.
Or it'll go the way of MySpace.
Possibly. Yeah. I don't see it though, because it's assuming that an acquisition happens. I don't think it's going to tank very quickly. It's going to be around a while, but you could see some other platform rise up sooner than it would have without a purpose.
Like Truth, is that the is that a platform that Trump
Truth
did?
Social?
Yeah, Truth Social. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely won't be that one. I don't think. Just
or
just
Rumble.
based on the name.
Rumble, yeah.
Rumble. Yeah, I like Rumble. Rumble's kind of interesting, but they don't have as large of a catalog, nearly as large as YouTube and stuff if you're actually looking for stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've tried using them just, to get out of the YouTube atmosphere a little bit. And I post all my videos over there, but their curation is really horrible compared to YouTube. If you're just looking for something that would interest you, it's not great.
Yeah. Yeah, I was posting.
That would be
Rumble.
an interesting platform to buy TikTok though, and incorporate TikTok into Rumble. And, because TikTok has that algorithm figured out for showing you videos that and if they bought it and incorporated it into their YouTube platform, also Rumble, then that could be something. But I doubt they have the money to do it.
Rumble's they're valued at about over $3 billion.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I know they've grown quite a bit.
I wouldn't have expected that, but that's pretty awesome.
They do a lot of rewarding creators for having exclusive content for Rumble. So even if you have, if you do 10 videos that you put on Rumble and on YouTube, then you do 2 more that are just Rumble. They reward that a lot and it shows up more in the algorithm. But I totally agree with Todd. Part of the issue over there is the search just isn't that great. And it doesn't serve stuff up the way YouTube does, or even Facebook, even though theirs isn't as good. The way they serve you up things that you would actually like to see. Or X is really great at that too. Like if you watch a video on X, it's going to serve up one that is something you're interested in next, like 90% of the time.
Yep. Yeah. Rumble right now, though, is very skewed towards political content as well. Right. My Amazon videos get very low views over there.
I was going to say, I mostly see, like, I'm just looking at it right now, political, gaming, political content and gaming content. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not logged in. I haven't been to rumble.com in ages. Like, I'm talking years, but it looks like a lot of, I'm actually seeing the same list of stuff for picks. There's,
I'm not logged
so there's
in
a bunch
either.
of gaming. Gaming, crypto.
Crypto.
And the last stats I heard, it even skews more heavily male than X does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably.
Which is hard to accomplish.
Politics, gaming, and crypto. That probably skews male for sure.
Super heavy male, but like the stats on it were something nuts. It was over 75% male was the last one I saw.
Wow.
Very good. All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump on to the next article here. So this one I thought was pretty cool. So OpenAI shopping assistant operator could change how customers buy online. OpenAI has introduced an AI agent called Operator that helps shoppers find products and complete tasks like making reservations. eBay is integrating this technology to direct buyers to unique inventory, aiming to make shopping more efficient and personalized. For Amazon sellers, this signals a shift towards AI-driven product discovery, which could impact search algorithms and how customers interact with listings. While AI could boost sales by improving product visibility, sellers may also face challenges with inaccurate purchases and increased return rates.
But it's more than just shopping. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also $200 a month if you want to put this together. It's supposed to be like you're almost like hiring I don't want to say hiring a VA, but
personal assistant almost.
Sort of, yeah. It's like, hey, but I want you to plan a trip for me from here to there. Yes, it does order groceries for sure. I have to assume that I believe that not Shopify. What's the big grocery shopping?
Instacart.
Thank you, Instacart, and there's one or two others that are testing this with Operator right now. And I didn't have the time, unfortunately, to deep dive into this, but I'm pretty interested in Operator because I actually hired an executive assistant last week who didn't work out, but I was thinking, well, $1,000 or $1,200 or $1,500 a month, whatever that person costs, compared to $200 a month. If Operator can do many of the functions, like, hey, I give it a Google Sheet and I say, hey, I need you to clean the data up and do this, that would be pretty awesome. Oh, sweet. So you've got the actual thing, but what I'm seeing is filling out forms, groceries, travel arrangements, creating memes, which is an interesting one.
Yeah, this one here says that they said Operator to search Priceline for your travel. So it's kind of like a customizable bot, it sounds like, with shopping abilities. But the goal is kind of to make an AI robot that can be your assistant in just about anything that you set it up to do.
Which to me is extraordinarily intriguing, because I can't tell you how many times I go throughout my day where I go, oh, well, I dare say I go on tangents, but so if I've got, hey, I need to go ahead and research this thing, like I just jot it down in my notes, right? But then I end up with this huge list of things I need to do that I'll never get to. If I could task that to a bot to just get me preliminary data, and let's just say, for instance, I go, okay, I need to find out about this data. Here's the questions I want to know the answers to. And I just feed that, say, a Google Sheet or something like that, say, here's the questions, go out and find me the data, and it can fill those fields. That would be pretty awesome. It would save me an enormous amount of research time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think that would be.
I think before you'd invested in that, we need to have James read the terms of service.
Oh yeah.
To see how much of their data you're gonna.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna give away here, because, man, I tell you, the things like ChatGPT, and I get really leery of putting. And okay, you're gonna say I need a tinfoil hat again, but we've all seen it. I hate that when every query, every question, every task, it's like it's somewhere, it's out there, it's tagged to you.
Yep. So I've come to terms with it. Look, I need a tinfoil hat just as well as you do, Leslie. I know that this stuff is happening. I've just come to accept it. In my opinion, the best case scenario is either you go, whoever you are, go and never shave again and go out and live in the woods in a wooden hut, or you just don't do anything dumb that can get you into trouble. And if you're going to do dumb stuff, don't publicize it. Right. But I firmly believe that no matter what precautions I take, whether I'm using a VPN, a VPS, I'm logging into a separate computer. Like, it's all tracked. It all goes somewhere. Somebody who we don't want to have it has it. And there's a social profile built for you on every government so that if you ever get caught, something could be used against you and you could go bye-bye to Guantanamo Bay and be waterboarded for the information about what you posted on MySpace in 1922.
Yes, you are 100% correct, I'm sure, Danon. And that's definitely the battle. I mean, we all got to use all these tools anyways. It's like, okay, you got to agree to this terms of service. Like, well, I got to use the tool. I need to do business. I need to do whatever. And so you just agree to them and move on, unfortunately.
Yeah. The thing that actually concerns me the most are platforms having access to my photos, right? And my wife, she probably won't kill me for saying this, but she won't even like, and we don't do this. Like, you know, when we were kids, there were naked pictures of us as children, like in cowboy boots or cowgirl boots, or just a naked butt with a cowboy hat on or whatever. Right. We don't do that anymore. Like, because our phones, there are things that have access to our phones. We don't take those pictures, you know? And not only that, society has gotten to the point where, like, oh, you have a naked child. It's like, well, yes, it's not. Anyhow, if it fell in the wrong hands, it would be horrendous, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely horrendous.
Used against you potentially even.
Absolutely. Yes. And so we don't do that stuff for fear of that, right? Yeah. We're just parents and like, you know, and it's totally normal to have a child run away from you after you're changing a diaper and they get up and take off, you know? It's also super cute, but you could take that so far out of context that we actually don't do anything. We try to keep it very clean, you know?
Yeah, we're the same, you know, even as far as not posting our baby on any public social network, you know. We post them on Facebook, but I've got, you know, all the security preferences locked down so only friends can see it,
because we know that works for sure.
Yeah. But you hear these stories about someone took this child of a photo or this photo of a child and then used AI to create child pornography. You can even take a photo and turn it into a porn video if you wanted to at this point. So it's just crazy. You got to be careful with that for sure.
Yeah. The only places we don't do a whole lot of photos of our children, but like my kids end up in my YouTube videos, right? Because we're out camping together. But anyhow, it's a terribly unfortunate thing that this is where we are. How did we get on this subject anyhow? But
AI.
that's right. AI.
It's just unfortunate there's people like that in the world and so many of them.
Yes. And I mean, I'd rather know that exists than be oblivious to it and be subject to the shit end of the stick on it. But, you know, it still sucks. Like, I have to change my habits. Anyhow, go ahead. Sorry, Leslie. Thank you.
On a much lighter note of people taking pictures of our children. So we were invited to a party this weekend. And for some reason that I don't understand, the people having the party were requiring that any male attendee wear a kilt. I have a 17-year-old son. I have a 17-year-old son who is a man's man kind of 17-year-old son. Yeah. He's like, don't make me go. And I said, I'm not going to make you go, dude. I wouldn't wear a kilt either if I were a 17-year-old boy. I'm cool with that. And he said, Mom, if someone takes pictures of that and it gets around, I don't need that in my life. I mean, can you imagine how this could be twisted in 25 different ways? And he's thinking of, you know, people saying he's become a transsexual or he's cross-dressing. It would be really easy to make it look like he's just like a dude in a skirt. And no matter what you think of that or don't think of that, think of yourself as a 17-year-old boy who is a straight male trying to make his way in the world, and he's like, I'm not going because someone could take my picture in a skirt and it's all over the place. People are going to put it on social media, not doing it. So even stuff like that isn't like scary from the perspective you're talking about, Dana, and about evil things that evil people do.
Yeah, it's just reputation and
And if you're a 17-year-old male, you're not going to be able to laugh that off like one of y'all would be able to. It's just not something you can deal with.
Well, I haven't met your son, but you've told me he's beastly in his size. The only thing he'd need to do to combat that really is just pick up a tree and throw it like the Scottish do, and then everyone would be like, nah, you can wear a kilt, you're good.
Yeah, we're not going to mess with this guy. We're not going to. But he's a gentle giant, and he just doesn't want to go there. So I feel for him.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I mean, it depends on your age too. Like for me, if I got invited to a Scottish thing like that, I'd be like, heck yeah, give me the kilt, give me the bagpipes. This is going to be awesome. But
I don't want to hear you play
get it
bagpipes,
at a 17-year-old. What's that?
I don't want to hear you play bagpipes. I hear
it would be horrible, but I would have fun.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd be like Ross in Friends when he's playing the bagpipes, if you remember that.
I didn't watch Friends.
My wife loves it, so we watch it all the time.
Cool.
All right, last story here. UPS to cut Amazon shipments by over 50%, impacting e-commerce logistics. UPS announced plans to reduce its Amazon package volume by more than 50% by late 2026. So it's 2 years from now yet, citing lower probability from the e-commerce giant. The move aligns with UPS strategy to shift focus towards higher margin customers such as healthcare, shippers, and small businesses. For Amazon sellers, this change could lead to increased reliance on Amazon's own logistics network or alternative carriers, potentially affecting shipping rates and delivery speeds. Sellers should monitor how Amazon adapts its fulfillment strategy, as changes in carrier partnerships could impact costs and order fulfillment efficiency. And the other thing I did hear recently as well is that UPS is no longer handing off small packages to USPS. They're going to be fulfilling those themselves. So they're picking up that volume and are going to start decreasing the Amazon volume.
Yeah, I see. Well, one thing we know for sure is that Amazon, once they've gotten to a certain point, they want to just do it themselves and make the money themselves, right? So we see this, and we've already seen it in the shipping area, right? Because they had a little snafu with FedEx many years ago, and then they were primarily using UPS. I think that UPS is basically nipping this in the bud, because my guess is Amazon's been nickel and diming them for a long time, to where they're like, okay, where's our profit? Let's forget about this. Let's just, they've had enough time to, my guess would be they've had enough time to figure out how to improve the logistics on this to make it more profitable. And they're going, okay, here's the model that we've done based on everything that we learned, everything we were doing with Amazon. Let's boot them out now, because they're going to kick us off eventually anyhow, and we don't have to have that revenue any longer. That would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, y'all, I'm old enough to remember when UPS was about to go down the toilet, and they were having to negotiate a contract with their very large labor force, and they were saying they couldn't afford to give them the raises, and they were afraid they were going to go bankrupt, and Amazon bailed them out with a giant shipping deal. I'm sure y'all remember that. Yeah, and I'm sure as part of that deal, they probably gave ridiculously low guaranteed rates just to get the volume so that they would stay in business. And then they've had a whole lot of shakeout on that, and their workforce is right-sized after COVID ended and all that jazz. So now UPS is doing a little better. Fuel prices are down a tad. Things are more stable. And so now they are running low margins because that's what they agreed to with Amazon. And they're probably, like everyone else, like us, who can't get Amazon to raise your margin for anything. So like if you're a vendor to Amazon, they won't raise your margin. They won't raise your price on your product or what they sell, what they buy it from you for. I'm sure this is the exact same thing. So UPS is like, okay, cool. Well, then we're just not going to do that volume anymore. And then on the flip side, Amazon made that investment in Rivian. Do y'all remember the ill-fated investment in Rivian? And so there's all these hideous, the really ugly, big, boxy electric trucks that are delivering all of your stuff now to your house. And so the investment in Rivian, it's kind of like a Ponzi scheme where they made an investment in Rivian and then they bought a whole bunch of trucks from Rivian to boost their investment in Rivian because it looked really bad and the numbers were bad. So then they bought more trucks from Rivian to help their investment in Rivian.
I wasn't following that. I remember the investment into Rivian and Rivian basically putting a hold on releasing their initial truck, the R1, I think it is, and then producing those trucks for Amazon. So that truck comes to my house, and actually they're very cool. And I saw a short from one of the drivers. The technology on this is pretty awesome in that when they go out, when they go out and do the deliveries, when they come back, they go through a photo booth, so to speak, that looks for any damage or anything like that. Then they just plug them back in and off they go. And so they've got this rotating fleet that goes in and out. I think it's a good idea. I don't know the ramifications on the power grid that it takes to do something like that. Like if you've got a warehouse of these electric trucks, oh my God, the amount of power, the gigawatts of power that has to go in there must be impressive. But I think it's pretty good if Rivian can pull through. I think they're having some trouble today. A Polestar just went bye-bye.
So, so Amazon is really good at controlling its costs, and it's really good at controlling its human costs. And so if they've got a workforce that is doing delivery for them, I would bet that they're keeping their costs down quite a bit on delivery of those packages. And then y'all all know about those little, the other partnered carriers, if we want to call them that are doing deliveries, that are these small businesses that'll go pick up 10,000 packages or whatever, and they deliver those every day. And some of those guys get almost slave wages. It's really bad. It's really, really bad, the amount Amazon pays them. So I would bet you money that Amazon is keeping its costs super low via all the drivers they've hired for the Rivian thing on the one hand, and then these other companies that they seriously abuse, and we all know that, on the other hand. So they're probably not really sad about UPS. If UPS is going to raise the price, what do they care? They love owning that delivery network, and I think they plan to use it for many more things than just themselves. That's one of their goals. The distributed delivery to them is just like the distributed data. They see this as a great way to make money. So I bet this is like everyone's cool with it. I would be shocked if everyone wasn't cool with it. UPS needs to make more. I thought it was interesting, Todd, that you said medical. I have 2 different deliveries every month that are prescriptions. And they're both overnight deliveries. They're both FedEx. UPS has never touched those. And those are high value, right? That's got to be a high value delivery compared to, getting your box from Amazon or whatever. I think that's really interesting that they've picked out healthcare as we need to go after some of these overnight things that we're not getting, that people, I mean, who do you trust with overnight? I trust FedEx. I think most people do.
Yeah. So one of my thoughts is, when people fulfill from Amazon, say on their Shopify site or eBay or whatever, for myself, I think most people usually check, block Amazon logistics, because if it's coming from your website, you don't want it to come in an Amazon box and, an Amazon vehicle. And people are like, oh, I might as well just buy it on Amazon. So that would lead me to wonder, if UPS is going to be cutting Amazon volume, are those prices going to go up if you're blocking Amazon logistics even further?
I don't know. I think we're going to see APD come out, Amazon Parcel Delivery.
It could be. Yeah.
I think
mean,
you're
maybe
right.
people just get used to thinking of Amazon as a UPS or FedEx, and it won't really matter. Because I guess you can separately set block Amazon Logistics and blank box. So maybe it'll be enough just to do blank box. No one will care that it gets delivered in an Amazon van. But I don't know. I think a lot of people who are fulfilling through Amazon on their own site don't want it showing up in anything Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I don't know. This is you know, I think a lot of people have said that the Amazon wave is, dying down. I really don't think so, though. I think it's just getting more and more and more sophisticated. But that means that us as 3P sellers need to be looking into the future as best we can into what change is coming and how do we need to be pivoting to accommodate that, because it sure as hell isn't getting less expensive for us to sell on Amazon, right? So does that mean that we need to pivot into doing our own stores, but then utilizing Amazon as our 3PL for our logistics? I don't know. We could go a bunch of different ways on where should somebody go, but in my opinion, I've been saying this for the last couple of years now. I think one thing's for sure to me, you got to be diversifying. It doesn't get any less expensive to deal with Amazon. At best, we all, clap when they say we're not raising our rates this time, and everyone goes, "Oh my God, that's the greatest news since Betty Crocker." Not that we're making it more efficient, therefore we're passing the savings on to you. No.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember,
we're not
they said they wouldn't
screwing you
raise
more.
FBA rates.
Yeah.
They didn't say that they wouldn't raise AWD rates or that they would eliminate savings that you could get.
Yeah.
Well, and if we're going to go full circle on today's podcast, if we're talking about Amazon delivery, where is their promise made about the drones? When are they going to start delivering by drone effectively? Because that was a huge thing, and now it's kind of gone all quiet.
There's little pockets of it in different places with testing, but I think that's proving to be a lot more challenging than they thought.
I think so too, because they made it sound like by now it would all be just coming by drone, and I haven't even seen I'm in a testing area for Walmart for that from our local store. Yeah, our local store in the giant Walmart parking lot. You'll know how big those are. They put a chain link fence out in the parking lot and have this area that they have that has the branding for Walmart drone delivery all over it. And then it's got these landing pads like they've marked off with paint 1, 2, and 3 for the drones. I've never seen anything leave it or come back, but they've got it all set up. It's been set up for months.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, we all thought we'd have self-driving cars from Tesla by now too. So all this technology takes a lot longer than you initially think. They blow out the marketing to get the venture dollars. And then it takes a lot longer.
I actually think on the self-driving cars from Tesla, I actually think that Starlink is a part of that plan, because the lower the latency you have, the faster the data and the corrections and all that stuff happen. And so when you have a network of satellites around, where every Tesla car is, where every car is, and every Tesla is feeding the network and the other cars exactly what's going on. You can compare data, and then you truly will have self-driving cars. But
it's coming for sure. It just takes longer than you think.
Yeah, but I read somewhere, and I'm looking for it now. I think in Arizona, Amazon actually grounded the drone delivery because of crashes or something.
They had
like
an accident.
Really?
Crash fell out of the sky or something like that. I don't remember what happened, if it hit a bird or something.
Yeah. Birds are bad for airplanes in the same proximity.
For sure. It doesn't work so well, but all right. Well, we're over the top of the hour here, so we should go ahead and wrap it up. But that was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys coming on the show, and everybody out there watching as well. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next Friday.
Good to be here. Sorry for going on a tangent about pictures.
Yeah,
Hey, and
lots of
now
tangents
now
today, but that's
everyone's
okay.
yeah, now everyone wants to go build their own little bomb shelter with the metal lining
Yes.
inside it because we
Great.
talked about
Yeah.
all that
Yep.
kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
go
thanks
hide
for
in the
having me,
bushes.
Todd.
Yeah,
Get a
come to
hobby
us.
farm.
That's right. Come to us to order your Chrome Dome, your own personal Chrome Dome.
That's right.
Yes. There we go.
All right,
We'll
guys.
end it with the Chrome Dome.
All right. See you, everyone. Bye.